Welcome to Entrepreneurial Entrails for some short stories on the guts and glories of being an entrepreneur.
Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason.
Hey, it's Elizabeth Plouffe, and I'm here today with sort of an entrepreneurial entrails, but this is more a new thing I'm launching. On Instagram, I have a thing that I put out every week, every couple of days, just little communications tips, because that's what I do. And some stuff that I've noticed in conversations with people or what have you in the groups that I attend, trying to answer some pain points. And one of the ones that I've going to be putting up today, and sorry I paused there because I'm trying to get some words together. It's number 15. So I actually haven't podcasted about these before, so I'm going to have to do some backtracking. But 15 today is, are you a tag troll? And what prompted this was what was I doing? I think I was looking for hashtag cancer, and just some atrocious shite came up that people had completely abused the hashtag just to drive people to their topic, which had nothing to do with cancer. And I'm sorry, but that's just not something you mess around with. You definitely don't abuse those hashtags to drive conversation to your, fashion or whatever the hell it was. It just torqued me off. So what I wrote here was, are you a tag troll? If the tag doesn't fit your topic at all, don't do it. Using cancer to drive traffic, hashtag cancer to drive traffic to a completely unrelated sale or event is pure troll. Now, here's why. One, it's rude. I mean, just flat out rude. And part of having an online conversation and being involved with online conversations is to build trust and to show your professionalism and the quality of content that you share. And when you do stuff like that and you abuse hashtags and include them in your conversations, be it on Instagram or Twitter or wherever, eventually people catch on that you're abusing it, and it doesn't do anything for your reputation. It doesn't do anything for your business, and so it breaks trust. It affects your business reputation, and it's just a shitty thing to do. I don't know how else to say it. So I found an article from the New York Magazine. It's dated 2013, but there's a couple of different things in here that I found really, really interesting. And one of the things, as far as hashtags go, he has a title of this article. So who wrote this? Sorry. Jeff Weisler from The Cut. It's the name of the website. And he puts the hashtag stuffer. The most common form of hashtag abuse. The stuffer is incapable of simply sharing a photo of his July 4th fireworks. He festoons it with hashtag firework, hashtag fireworks, on and on and on. There are three potential reasons for this butchering of our language. A failure to grasp the hashtag, a failure to grasp humanity, and most often, a misguided attempt to amplify your audience, which was what this person was doing when they abused hashtag cancer. Yes, theoretically, and when used judiciously, a hashtag can showcase your zinger to thousands of new eyeballs. But as Daniel Victor, I don't know who that is, a social media editor for The Times, suggests after crunching the numbers, we're likely to get lost in the ocean of hashtags. The Super Bowl hashtag was used 3 million times over about 5 hours. Look at all those people who might be interested in our jokes about Beyonce, writes Victor. And yet getting any single person's attention is just short of impossible, like a single Niagara droplet screaming for notice as it shoots down the falls. It looks desperate and it looks crappy when you pepper any post with hashtags. It just looks awful. And I had an intervention with somebody just to say, because every time they put something out, they hashtag the crap out of it, and it just looked awful. And it makes it a bit hard to read. So some of the best ways to use hashtags, and I'm just finding some more stuff that I can share with you, is people are looking for particular topics. Have a look at what you're doing, have a look at what you're talking about, and then do the work, do the research to find the hashtags that are appropriate for what you are doing. Because part of the goal is to connect with a specific audience. And when you are, for an example, a fashion person, and I'm not picking on them, this just happened to be the example that I ran across, and you start bringing in hashtags that have nothing to do with what you're doing, you just annoy the shit out of people. Sorry, I'm using that word a lot, but this was just so bad. So there is an article here from Search Engine Watch, and it talks about 5 brilliant ways to use hashtags. And by the way, one of the other worst things to do is to make up your own hashtag, because nobody's looking for that. Unless it has to do with a large event or a large existing organization or what have you. If it's not currently trending, nobody's looking for it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting characters in your tweet. You only have 140 and hashtags count. And you're not doing anything to amplify your audience or engage. And so I'm just going to go down here and see if there's, my word, these pop-up things. So it does drive engagement when it's used properly. You get in on conversations that are already existing. And this is something that I put out for healthcare professionals as well. I use the Health Canada calendar and then go and research through Simpler the healthcare hashtags that are being used and find the ones that are recommended. You definitely need to look at the topic that you are going to be talking about, and then, like I said, do the research. Use Twitter. Use a variety of sources to find out what's going on, and check and see also what's happening in your Twitter reports and your analytics. See if the hashtags that you're using are actually driving traffic and getting in on the conversation. You can create a story. It can go on and get attached to different things and track the results. That's the biggest thing. If you're going to create, for an example, a new hashtag, you need to see if it's getting looked for. You need to promote it. You need to include it. There's a variety of ways to use them successfully. But the biggest thing that I'm talking about today is the do's and don'ts. And abusing something like the hashtag cancer, like autism, like any of the big conversations that is going on right now is not the way to drive genuine conversation. It's not the way to engage your audience, especially if you are abusing it. You look like a troll. People don't take you seriously. And for me, if I find out that that's going on, I unfollow the person. I mean, I'm a very, very small sperm of a fish in the big pond, but still, you do it often enough, the bigger fish are going to notice. They're gonna get you. So there's an article here actually from Hootsuite as well, and it talks about the do's, which is awesome. How not to use hashtags, the don't. In general, if you're creating a branded hashtag, you should try to keep it short and sweet. Even though New York cronut lovers might target a very specific audience, no one will use the hashtag because they just don't want to type in that many characters. You also don't want to try and be too clever or offbeat. And they put in here hashtag crow NYTS ? I don't know. Since you want people to naturally search for your tag. Hashtags are supposed to make things easier to find and engage with, but long, complicated hashtags can actually be more arduous, challenging. In this case, you're better off with something like hashtag NYCronuts. Don't have more hashtags than words. And again, I had an intervention with somebody because, man, that was going on. Social media users often use an excessive amount of hashtags, especially when making a joke. But many Instagram users have also caught on to the fact that the more hashtags can mean more reaches and likes. So they've overloaded their photos with as many hashtags as they're allowed, which is reportedly 30. You do not want to use 30 hashtags on a single post. You don't even want to use 5 hashtags on a single post. Even if you gain followers, it's often the wrong kind of followers. Spammers are people who are only interested in being followed back. I get a ton of those. I don't follow them back, and I don't use usually any more than 5 hashtags in any post. It generally dilutes your message and comes off as desperate. Focus instead on being specific. Don't hashtag everything, which is really true. There is some stuff that I put out there that I don't, or I only put one hashtag. I try and pick the most appropriate. So the hashtag do's that they recommend here is the specific. Cater the hashtags to the social network that you're using. So, be aware of where you're putting it on. You can come up with relevant unbranded hashtags. Don't overcomplicate it. And don't go, hashtag cancer come party or something like that. Not cool. So there's a whack of stuff. I strongly encourage you, especially if you're new into the social media game, which I'm sure most of you are not. But if you're trying to drive engagement, if you're trying to do a variety of things, do it smart. Do the research, do the work, find the best conversations that are going on, join those, and make sure that you're contributing something of value. Make sure that the hashtags that you're using are appropriate to the topic that you're going on about. And I know I've said that a few times, but I can't tell you enough how crappy it looks. And sometimes on Instagram, I will intentionally not follow somebody because of the number of hashtags that they have on there. Regardless of how many followers they have, it looks crappy. So tip for today, don't be a tag troll. Do your best to do the research, drive traffic properly. And that's pretty much it. I'd love to hear if you are investigating how to use tags appropriately, or a tag that you've used for something that has worked successfully for you. Hopefully it was appropriate. And you can have a look at my Instagram at MCVPloof. My Twitter is the same handle. Facebook is MCV Communications, and that's also my website. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Just know that you have the guts and glory to make your own story, and I hope these tips and tricks help you make your story better. Thanks very much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.